Hey everyone, my name is Dave Pluff. I want to welcome you to our class. This is Art 100, Introduction to Art, and it is a very cool class. We cover everything from the formal elements and principles of design to the different mediums that artists use to create art. I've got a whole bunch of really cool lectures on people like Van Gogh and Picasso, as well as society issues like art theft talked about in this class. What I'm going to do is produce a video like this every 2 weeks that walks you through 2 modules. Modules open 2 at a time in our class, so you'll have access to Module 1 and Module 2 today. And I'm going to tell you all about the lectures. I'm going to tell you about the projects, which include a quiz and discussion board, and hopefully answer most of the questions you'll have about the material. You're more than welcome to email me at any time. You're more than welcome to join my office hours every Monday and Wednesday, late afternoon, early evening. I'll show you the link to that as well. And our class is asynchronous, so it is fully on your own time. You do have deadlines to meet as far as the modules and that material is concerned, but there is no class meetings, there is no Zoom meetings or anything like that throughout the semester. So with that, I'm going to take you over to the Canvas site. I'm going to walk you through modules 1, 2, and also show you the administrative materials module, which includes things like the course syllabus. All right, here we are on the Canvas site. First thing you're going to do is click into our class from the dashboard. This is Art 100. We always have this as the icon for our class, which is a Renoir painting. It's called Luncheon of the Boating Party. We'll talk about that when we get into modern art. You'll always land on the home or syllabus page, and this is going to be important because up above the banner here, you'll normally have during this semester any past emails that I've sent out. So that's one of the locations you can find them. Also, you can click on the announcements page, and that will also show any past emails. Underneath the banner is all the projects that are coming due. So you can also see the due dates. For instance, Sunday, September the 1st, we're going to need to make sure we have a post on the discussion board. By Sunday, September 8th, you'll need to complete Module Quiz 1. So I'll go over those. And don't be overwhelmed by the amount of material that's there. All of these are very easy to complete. When you click on the Modules tab, it'll bring you over to this page, and you'll have access to 3 modules right now: the administrative material, and then Module 2 and Module 1. I have these set up so that the most current module will always be on top, so by the time we get to the end of the semester, Module 16 will be up at the very top, just underneath the Administrative Materials module. This module always stays at the very top because it has the most important information. So it has some primary information such as our course syllabus, the lecture schedule, and the late policy. Those are the first things you want to read through this first week together, and this is going to be all the rules and regulations of the course. We have some supporting information, such as the disabled student programs. We also have some technology support numbers and websites. Underneath that, we have some Netiquette information and some information about me. Now, when you click on the Meet Your Instructor information, this is another place where you can find my email address, a Zoom link to my office hours, which are held on Monday and Wednesday, and also a direct link to my YouTube site. So we'll go ahead and close that module. But again, make sure to read through that material this week. I've set time aside for you to complete that. During the first week, we will have people adding and dropping the class. So it is a fairly light week, but all the information here, all the modules are generally set up in the same exact way. So Module 1 looks very similar in respect to Module 2. It has the same headings, and I'll go through each module that we're going to be completing together. Up top here, this is the video you're watching right now, the welcome video. I'm going to produce one of these every other week, and it's going to handle 2 modules. So we're going to have 8 of these videos by the time we're done with this semester. Each module then has an introduction. The introduction in this case for Module 1 also has a little bit of a welcome and an explanation of the 4 categories below. But the summary, this is what we're going to be doing for the week, the list of lectures, the objectives, and finally the assessments to make sure you have an idea of what needs to be completed by Sunday evening. Keep in mind my projects are due Sundays by 3 p.m. After that, we have a link to my office hours. My office hours are, once again, every Monday and Wednesday, 4:30 to 7 p.m. If for any reason I cannot make an office hour, for instance, if I have to schedule a medical appointment, I will put a note underneath the office hour page. We'll go back to that real quick here. So there'll be a note right underneath here saying where my office hours are moved to, but that's going to be a rare exception. Underneath that, we have our lectures. The first one is the roles of the artist. All you have to do is click into that. We've got a video right here for you. This one is about 45 minutes. The videos all range in time length depending on the subject matter. And of course, you never have to watch these through all the way on the first viewing or anything like that. If you want to watch 15-minute segments, that's more than fine. Every lecture is accompanied by a study guide. A study guide has a list of vocabulary terms. It also has a list of images, as many times this is your first art class, and there are hundreds of images shown in each of these lectures. And I know that sometimes it's like which one is more important than the other. So this one kind of highlights the most important images, and usually there's a correlation between vocabulary and imagery that I choose. In this case, the roles of the artist is a topical lecture. We're going to learn the 4 roles of the artist. And then you'll also notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4 images. So the very first image here correlates to the first role of the artist, and so on. At the very bottom here, I have some notes on how to use study guides. Study guides are for you. They're never turned in. Think of these as scratch paper, and you're going to learn vocabulary. You're going to have a list of images, and a little disclaimer that while I try to really focus my exam questions on the study guides, there may be some images that you'll see that are outside of these guides. After the study guide, we have the further exploration section. Further exploration is where you're going to find your readings. It's also going to be a place where you're going to find videos that I can't embed into the lectures, usually because of copyright issues. So what you want to do is go through on the readings and click all of these. Make sure to read them through. Some are pretty quick, like what is art appreciation? Just gives a little blurb about it, and that's all you have to be concerned about. Make sure to watch the videos. Got about 15 minutes worth of videos there. After that, I'm going to jump down. I'm going to pass up the discussion board just for a moment. We're going to go to the journal instructions. Every module has a journal associated with it, and it's usually going to be material that's going to be either in the current module or the module that it's associated with. For instance, in this case, modules 1 and 2 are associated with one another. The journals can be really anything. It can be a reflection from a reading I'd like you to go through. It could be focused research on a particular topic, a worksheet in the case of films, a short writing exercise, or even a art activity. All my art activities are instruction driven, so don't ever feel that you're not going to be able to complete any of these projects. You'll all be able to complete these. Journals are also submitted at the very end of the semester, but you do want to keep up with these because they do relate to material that we're learning about in the current modules. The module, the first journal entry we're going to look at is focused on iconography. In Module 2, you're going to have a lecture on the language of art. Once you've completed that lecture, you're going to be able to complete this work, which is just writing about a half a page to a full page reflection. And when you do writings, especially in the college level, you want to make sure they're double spaced. I'm totally okay with 12-point font. Projects do need to be typed. And through iconography, this is the study of the meaning of images. So you'll look at this painting here, you'll talk about the different elements that you see, and really what we try to do is construct a narrative about the work, even though we may not know anything about the artist involved or anything like that. So it's a kind of a very cool process we as art historians utilize to make sense of artwork. And again, that's going to be talked about in module number 2. The final thing we're going to do the first week together is the discussion board. And the discussion board is just a welcome discussion. Tell everyone your name, what area of California or the world you're from, your current major or area of interest. I want you to also post an image of your favorite artist's work and explain why you like it. I do ask that you do more of the art that we're dealing with in this class: paintings, sculptures, jewelry, glass, ceramics, things like that. Musical artists are not really something we talk about in this class, so it would not be an appropriate choice. And then you'll want to include an image, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Finally, return to the discussion board later in the week or even the next week and comment on another student's post. I'll show you how to upload an image, but there's 16 points for your initial post, 4 points for the response. Initial post by September 1st and September 8th for the other. So you'll just click the reply button here. You'll have this window open up, and you can start typing in right away. When you add an image, start on a fresh line, click on this icon here, upload an image, and just drag and drop. Once you've done that, then you can click on the image and resize it. So very easy to do. Also have a video walkthrough just in case you need that. So that is the end of what you need to do for the very first week we're together. And again, that's the administrative materials module, reading through all that. Then we get to the fun stuff, which is module 1. At this point, I'm going to go over module number 2. So once again, it's set up the exact same way our very first module was. And you can also watch this video later. If you want to do one module a week, that's more than fine. You can always come back to these videos. The introduction looks the exact same way. We have a summary of what my goal is for the week, a list of lectures, the objectives. Objectives are important because that's generally what we're tested on in the quizzes. And then finally, the assessment. So module quiz number 1 and journal entry number 2. Office hours down below, again Monday and Wednesdays. We have the language of art lecture, its study guide, and let's take a look at this study guide as well, because this is more vocabulary driven compared to the roles of artists were more topical. So we're going to learn terms such as representational, abstract, and non-objective art, also form, content, and iconography. Now on the study guide, this image is representational art. This image is abstract, and this image is non-objective. So we can see immediately that these 3 terms are taken care of in the imagery. We also have form, content, and iconography. We'll learn how those are applied to each and every one of these images as well. For the language of art further exploration section, we do have a couple of readings and one video for you to watch. When we zip down to the next lecture, this is one of the first major lectures of the semester. There are three. Space, line, and color theory are the most important lectures during the first half of this class. So spend some time on space and the illusion of space. We've got the lecture study guide and further exploration section. One major reading is here, but we're also going to be learning about this idea called perspective. In fact, specifically, this is linear or scientific perspective. It's the way artists make two-dimensional surfaces look three-dimensional, and it's through a mathematical formula. This book, I actually have a copy of it, but this is available online now, the entire book for free, and it's a cool thing to have. So if you're into perspective, that's an optional link for you. We also have some videos to go over, mostly focused on perspective. And then down here for journal entry number 2, I'm actually going to have you do some basic drawing, which is going to be turning two-dimensional forms like squares, triangles, trapezoids, rectangles into three-dimensional forms such as cubes. So that's what we're going to end up with for our finished project. I've got several steps. I've even got a short video here that will show you how to do one of these forms. If you've done perspective before, I have a lot of art students, I have a lot of engineering students who are taking this class for credit, and they've already done some basic perspective. If you've never done perspective before, this is what I'd like you to complete. But if you think you're all fancy and you know what you're doing, you're more than welcome to try creating one of these really cool interior scenes. The main thing, though, you have to make sure that you have at least 7 items or objects in perspective. And then I can tell you this one here was actually made by an engineering student. So again, we're looking for 7 objects to show that you know how to create artwork in linear perspective. For this project, what you're going to do is you're going to submit 2 images in the journal entry. One of them in progress, so I can kind of see the skeletal formation of your project. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but this is a fairly good part of what I'd like you to present. And then the finished objects here. So don't copy anything from online. That's not the point. The idea is that we're practicing so that we're competent in linear perspective. Now, every other week we're going to have a quiz. So what happens in Module 1 is we have a discussion board. We're finishing up the discussion board this week by putting a reply on the discussion. And in Module Quiz 1, this will be for all the even-numbered modules. So Module 3 will be a discussion, Module 4 will be a quiz, and so on. Module quiz number 1, each of these is 20 questions. They are each worth 1 point, and it covers material for this one, Module 1, Module 2, and the Administrative Materials module. And you are timed at 20 minutes. And I'm going to show you a preview here. So you can kind of see the countdown clock right here. What is my email address? You'll just click what you think is the correct one. Then you'll click the next button and go on to the next question. Once you answer the question, you'll see that you'll have a check mark right up there. Total of 20 questions, and again, just 20 minutes to answer these, so you have 1 minute per question. Make sure you've gone over the material prior to taking the exam, and again, that's all the lectures and everything. It is open book. You can refer back to the lectures and the study guides and things like that, but again, you are timed, so make sure you've studied prior. And with that, that is the end of module number 2. Don't forget to go back and make a response to that discussion board in module number 1. And I will be back shortly to tell you about modules 3 and 4.